This video will show a really simple graphical user interface for the guessing game that we developed early in the semester. So this is a starting point. You can see here the main methods. The important thing here is this code in the middle, where I'm creating an instance of the class. We need to pack it and make it visible. And what this class is an actual JFrame. So notice that I've created a class called Guessing Game GUI, and it extends JFrame. Now the following week, so the week after we've worked with the graphical user interfaces, we'll look at inheritance. So we'll see in more details what inheritance means. But it really means that we're indicating that this is a JFrame. A standard frame, which is a window for Java, and we're going to add stuff to that window. So I have my constructor as usual. The constructor creates the frame. The super thing means that I am invoking things from the parent class from JFrame. So every time you see the word super, it's going to the class JFrame. So what I'm doing here is I'm saying I want to be the frame, and I have a title in there called Guessing Game. And I want this frame to have as a default close operation that the entire program exits. So this means that if I hit that little X in the corner, indicating I want to close the window, that I'm actually closing the entire program. So the first thing that I'm doing in this window is I'm adding a label. A label is just a holder for text, and I'm now going to the frame and saying, please get the content pane and add this label to it. All right, so this is a really simple frame. It has a title and a label inside of it. So let's see what this looks like when I run it. So I can save this and compile it. And now run it. So you see here this tiny little frame. It has the title Guessing Game in it. It has the standard widgets sitting here at the top. And you see here the label. I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. Try to guess it inside of that window. So that is the first thing that I want to put in there. There's two other things I want to put in, and that is a text box, so that allows me to enter a guess, and a button to click to say, please go and check this guess for me. So the first thing I'm going to try is using a text field. So I'm going to just call it entry is equal to a new text field. And right now I'm going to indicate the size 20. And I'm going to go again to the parents, get the content pane, and I want to add to the content pane my entry. This is not going to work quite as I would like it to, but let's take a look at what happens when I do this. So I created the text field. The other thing is I need to do is import it. So the package that has a lot of the GUI components for Swing is javax.swing. And then a whole slew of classes. So right now I'm working with the text field, so I'll import that class as well. Compile this again and run it. Yeah, now what you see here is that the label has been replaced by the text box. So that was not really my intention, but what ended up happening is I just went to my content pane and put this in it. And what it did is it just put one thing on top of another, and that's not really what I wanted to happen. So really what I want to do is add multiple things into this spot. And if I want to add multiple things, I tend to want to put them in what we call a panel. Okay, so instead of putting them directly into the frame, I'm going to put them in a panel. So I'm now going to say content dot add. I just add the frame. So now I have a panel that has multiple things in it, and now I can just put the panel inside of the frame. So super.getContent pane dot add, and I am going to add my content. All right, let's see if this looks any better, if I can see both the label and the text box. All right, much better. So now I see the label and next to it the text box. So I can enter 10 in that text box or delete it. Now the one thing left is the button. And I'm going to do the same thing for that. So I need to import the button. Create it. Now, all of these, the labels and the text fields and the buttons, they're all called widgets, and each widget has its own constructor with parameters and ways of setting how you work with the widgets. And there's enormous amounts available online related to working with all these individual widgets. I'm going to call this the guest button. It's a new button. And here what you can do is to put the label down that should show up on the button. I'll just call it guest and content.add the guest button. All right, so let's make sure that that button has also shown up. All right, now I have the label, the text fields, and the button. If I click on the button, nothing happens because I haven't told it what to do when I click a button, but you can kind of see that when you click on the button, it looks clicked. All right. The only thing that I don't like about this is that they're sitting side by side. I really would like to stack them on top of each other. And the reason that they're side by side is that a JPanel by default has a layout that is called a flow layout. So I actually want to change the layout. And I want to use a box layout because I want to stack things on top of each other. The box layout needs to know where the panel is, so it needs a link to the panel. So I'm going to give the actual container, the JPanel, as an argument. And it also needs to know how I want to box it. Now I want things on top of each other. So I'm going to work along the y-axis. So it's a box layout dot y-axis. All right, so now I'm working with a different layout manner. Instead of a flow layout, which is the default, I went to a box layout. So let's take a look to see what this looks like. No, yes, so it doesn't know about the box layout because I need to import it. If I remember correctly, that is in Swing as well. All right, things were nicely put on top of each other. I'm still not really happy. Now everything is left aligned. I think it would be better if things were centered. So I'm going to make one more change to center it. And you'll find as you're creating the GUI for your project that there are certain things that you want to do. And it just means searching for it. So in this case, I would search for something. How do I center in a box layout? And you'll get many hits that show you how to do this. So in this case, I wanted to center it. Not this one. And in this case, I have to do it for everything that I put inside of there. Make sure that all of them are aligned in the center. So I'll message label. I want to indicate to the message label that it should center itself. I want to call set alignment X. Because I'm aligning along the X-axis instead of the Y-axis. And I want to indicate how I want to align it. And there is a constant in the component class that will help me do this. And center align. And I want to do this for all of the widgets, so also for the entry fields. And for the button. Now this is likely not going to compile because I haven't imported components. Yeah, it's complaining about components. And component is in a different folder or in a different package. It's under AWT, so java.awt.component. In a very general thing, if you have a J in front of it, it's more likely under swing. If it doesn't, it's likely under AWT, and of course the box layout is an exception to this. All right, and now everything is much nicer centered. So I can enter things in the text box. I can hit the guest button. So this is getting closer to the way I want it to look. You can spend infinite amount of time in getting this to look the way you want this to look. And that means getting comfortable with working with widgets and also comfortable with working with layout managers. There's many different layout managers: box, flow, border layout, grid layout, grid bag layout. It goes on, and each layout is good for different things. At this point, I'm happy with the way things look. So the next step now is to make things work, which I'll do. So actually do stuff when the button is being clicked and get some functionality in there, and that I will do in the next video.